Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Denise Salcedo, and I'm very excited to bring you another interview here today. So my guest for today is none other than showrunner for the new Quibi show, Your Daily Horoscope, which is a daily animated astrology show that releases 12 episodes every weekday for each astrological sign, which is pretty awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kelly Landry. What's up, Kelly?
Hey, how are you? Thank you so much for having me on today.
Of course. I was just kind of like going through your work, and I just got to say, I admire all of the stuff that you have been able to do throughout your career. I just find it so cool to see like everything that you have done. So before we get into your daily horoscope, you have been part of so many numerous projects, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. So I kind of just want to start off by talking about some of your favorite projects that you have worked on prior to your daily horoscope.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Well, I guess I love the all the work with Equals 3 Studios. You know, some people might know Top 6, which is so that I wrote and hosted, or Equals 3, or the sketch series we did, Booze Lightyear. And that was super fun because I got to play behind the camera and in front of the camera. So that was really one of my favorites. I also love getting to work on Writing with Grace Helbig.
And she's fantastic too.
Yeah, she's incredible. And then I got to write and direct a show on Facebook Watch called Starter Pack with Jasmine Love, which was amazing. It was really great to get to write and then be on set directing and kind of see it all come to life.
And that's pretty interesting because as you mentioned, like, you also do front of the camera stuff. As you mentioned, your show Top 6, which I have been able to see several episodes of that. So how important is it for you to sort of not only be a front of the camera person, but to also have that creative input behind the camera?
Yeah, I really love having creative input behind the camera. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit of a control freak. I'm a Capricorn rising for all you astrology fans. So I love really getting to see a project through from start to finish. When I started out my career, I really thought it was just acting that I was interested in. And then I was like, oh no, it's creating in any form, whether it's, writing, directing, helping other actors. But I feel like my experience in front of the camera in my acting training really helps me to communicate with actors and get the performances out of them in a way that's really respectful. And I admire actors. I was one. So it really helps me kind of speak their language and know what actors need and allow them to play, because it's a true collaboration. And I think sometimes if you kind of get a new or an experienced person behind the camera that hasn't worked a lot with actors, they feel like it's their job to really just tell them what to do. And it's, a collaboration. And I think being an actor allowed me to see that actors coming on a set or any type of creative is there because they're great at what they do and they're there to collaborate.
Exactly. And I find that really awesome. I love the fact that you mentioned that creating is your, you said you thought your passion was going to be acting, but it also turned out to be creating. And I almost think that if anything, that's probably what sort of makes your work come across as even grander because you're so passionate about it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I always kind of believe you should go where the energy is. And if you say, I'm only going to be an actor, I'm only going to be a writer, you kind of limit yourself and you say no to opportunities that arise. When if you think about your overall goal, my overall goal is to create, to get, messages of certain shows out to people, to impact people by creating things in all different ways. And if you limit yourself, you kind of block, of course, if you don't want to do something, don't do it. But if you're like, oh, hey, I've never done that, maybe I'll try, like, go for it, go where the energy is.
Was that always easy for you to decide, like, follow your heart, I'm going to go where the energy is? Or did you face any sort of challenges where you were like, oh, I kind of want to be this person, but, should I take this project? Should I not?
Yeah, I think in the beginning I was so set on acting that it took me a minute to shift because I was like, no, I only want to act, and doing something else is kind of giving up on what I want. And then I realized it wasn't. I was going to a bunch of auditions where it was like one line on Entourage for like secretary number 2. And I was like, this doesn't feel like the thing that's fulfilling me. It felt like there was something more. So that's when I started writing and getting into stand-up and directing, and that became so fulfilling. But at the first, there was resistance to it, especially if you focus on a goal for so long, or you grow up thinking, I'm going to be this, or I want to be that. You can resist it at first, but I also think I grew up in Maine. And so when I was 8 years old and I was obsessed with film and TV, everyone was like, oh, you're going to be an actress. You're going to be a movie star. Because no one was telling 8-year-old girls they're going to be a director. They're going to be a showrunner.
Exactly.
So I didn't really see it as an option until I moved out to LA and kind of the world opened up.
And that's the cool thing is that now, like, certain people, like, even if they just started off as one thing, like, now you see them branching out and doing so many different stuff. And that's essentially what sort of builds this career and whatnot. So now let's go ahead and talk about your daily horoscope. So it seems that astrology has grown in popularity. Like, a lot of people are talking about it even more so than I remember it several years ago. So how did this project specifically come along?
Well, this project came along. I'm actually repped at the same management company that Will Arnett is. And Will Arnett is teamed up with Attention and Quibi on this project. So my manager heard about the project and I read her horoscope every day. I'll like tell her and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I can't sign a contract right now. Mercury's in retrograde. So when she saw this project come along, she was like, it's Kelly. You have to hire Kelly. She's obsessed with astrology. She's obsessed with comedy. It's perfect. But this also was kind of an example of something new. I hadn't been involved in animation before. I had never showrun an animated series. So that was another example of, I was like, oh, well, I've never done that, but like, yes, I want to, I can learn. And I've had such an incredible team helping me out along the way.
Because obviously you've never done animation before. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced?
Just kind of the language and knowing the steps. I think a lot of times in animation, you come in and you're like, oh, let's just do a small change. Like, let's tweak the color of that shirt. And the animation team and the composite team and everyone was going, oh, small change. That's not a small change at all. And I really wanted to be careful to kind of respect people that knew a lot more about it than I did. I have an incredible supervising director, Tim Harold, and he really kind of showed me the ropes of animation. Also, the way we animate this show is different than other shows. It's such a quick turnaround that, you know, a lot of shows will do a storyboarding phase where they hand draw, you know, every second of the episode. We don't really have time for that. So we're kind of making a unique, you know, like a unique style of animation, a unique way to animate that allows us to turn out 12 episodes a day.
Yeah, because that is a lot. Like, I was thinking about it and like I was watching the episodes and I was like, man, I was like, to put out 12 of these a day, that definitely takes a lot of work. But before we sort of get into that portion of it, you mentioned that you have always been a big fan of astrology. What is it that always drew you to astrology and that draws people overall to want to know about it?
Well, I think especially in this time, it's trying to become self-aware or trying to learn more about yourself and how you fit into the world. And I think astrology is a really great tool for that because you can look at yourself or your characteristics and your good qualities and your bad qualities and say, like, I'm a Sagittarius with a Capricorn rising. And so Sagittarius are known for being, you know, adventurous, but maybe non-committal sometimes or a little, you know, grandiose. And so looking at yourself, you can look at your sign and say, oh, okay, haha, that's funny. I can be a little non-committal. I can be this. And it doesn't feel as personal. It feels like kind of a safe way to talk about some of your flaws.
Right.
I think that's why people are drawn to it, especially these days, because people are becoming more self-aware and they're curious about how they fit into the world or how they interact with other people. And I think a lot of times you see it in memes, they kind of, you know, drag different astrology signs and people love it. It's a little self-deprecating, but there's a little hint of truth in there. And it's a fun way to talk about, you know, yourself. People are interested in themselves.
And I think one of the cool parts of astrology is like, even when you're reading somebody else's sign and you're like, oh my God, that is so my grandma, that is so my boyfriend, oh, they're spot on. And I think people like to have that confirmation of, hey, like they're spot on with this, or this is exactly how I resonate with my personal astrology sign. So as I mentioned, 12 episodes every weekday, that is a lot of work. But I want to know, which signs for you are you most like excited to see when the episodes come about, and like which ones are your favorite to actually see?
Well, I can't pick favorites of my babies, but I love Libra. She's just, or I guess all the signs are non-gendered. They're all they, by the way, fun fact, just so people can relate and we're not leaning too much into gender roles. But Libra is one of my favorites just because they're they really take the horoscope advice to heart and try. And sometimes it goes way, horribly wrong. But they're just such a big personality. And I think I relate a lot to Libra. Libra's a little bit of a people pleaser and will try to like be politically correct and try to please everyone. So it's really funny to see that go wrong.
I love the episode where she's in the office and it's cold and she wants the thermostat to go up, but then she's kind of afraid to do so. I thought that was hilarious, and I don't know very many Libras, so sort of seeing that, it kind of made me like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing for Libras.
Yeah, and I love Taurus. I know that you're a Taurus.
Yes, I'm a Taurus. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Taurus is so fun because they're just so like dry and I don't know, kind of they have this like power, but they don't need to put out a lot of energy to be in control or be in charge. They love hanging out on their couch, love a good cheese, love a good wine.
Yes, like 100% in terms of like, very stubborn, hard-headed, loves food. But I also feel, and I don't know if you might agree with me or not on this, but I also feel like there's two different types for each astrology. Like there's a specific type of Taurus, and then like there's like another specific type of Taurus. So I almost feel like you could be like one of each, either or when it comes to your specific sign. So that was one of the other things that I've like recently started noticing about astrology. And I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. People can relate to things in different signs. There's also, when you're talking about astrology, your sun sign is the main sign. And it's where the sun was when you were born. And that's the daily horoscope signs, your Taurus, Sagittarius, all the ones that we do in our show. The ascendant sign or your rising sign is also a sign that you should pay attention to. And if you get your birth chart done or go online and, figure out your time and date of birth, you can figure out what your rising sign is. A lot of times when people don't relate directly to their sun sign, they'll notice that they relate to their rising sign. Do you know your rising sign?
Yeah, no, I actually don't. I haven't looked at that yet, but when you mentioned it right now, it's like, I need to make a mental note to go ahead and do that because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think we try to hit, like you said, there's different types of Taurus. Like on one side, Taurus loves staying home, loves being in their bed, maybe outside people can be seen as like a bit lazy, and we kind of have fun with that in episodes. But then the other side of Taurus is they're super consistent, super hardworking, really stubborn. If they want something, nothing's going to stop them. So if, you don't relate to the side of Taurus that wants to take a nap, you probably relate to the side of Taurus that like, if they will do anything to achieve their goals.
Or both. I think I relate to both in that sense for sure.
Achieve your goals, then take a nap, right?
Exactly. There you go. Self-care. How has it been providing content for this new platform of Quibi? Like, how has that been?
Working with Quibi has been awesome, and getting to provide this show for them has been incredible because I think this show is meant for Quibi. Quibi is like a mobile first platform, like working with some of the best creators, the best writers, best directors. And I think this show specifically is designed only for Quibi. Like you go to your phone to check your horoscope every day. And now Quibi is allowing you to go to Quibi to check your horoscope on your phone and also get some, incredible content and some jokes and some comedy with it. So it's been great. It's really cool to see how people are engaging with it, and people are really exciting and watching their episodes every day. So I don't think this show would have worked on any other platform.
No, and I think it's pretty cool, especially like you said, the short form content, get in there, check your horoscope. And it's so different from what we're used to. You open a magazine, you read your horoscope, and that's it, you analyze it. But with what you guys are providing, you're providing a story around it, a really good example of that. So I think that's really cool. In terms of your process for the day, for each episode, what would you say is your favorite aspect of, being part of part of your daily horoscope?
Of the writer's room. The writer's room, hands down. It's where we get to just play. Every writer brings up personal stories, and each writer is a different sign.
Oh, nice.
So we have we have a writer who's Libra. The writer for Libra is a Libra. And so you can really see some of the qualities come through. And also the horoscopes provided by our astrologer, Eliza Kelly. I don't know if you knew, but she is a legit, real astrologer. She does horoscopes for Cosmopolitan. She's so amazing. She delivers us the horoscopes every day, and then we get to read the horoscopes and come up with a story around it. So it's cool. It's kind of like we have this backbone, and we get to say, okay, like if I got this horoscope, what would I think? Would I get it? Would I take the advice? Would I not? How would that play out? So we kind of try to make it relatable to everyday life, to our writers in the room, to our audience. And that's the kind of cool thing is the show is, you know, it's kind of starring you. It's starring the viewer. Like you're a Taurus watching Taurus, like this is about you. This is about how your day could go.
And you're excited. You're like, oh, I want to click on my episode and see like what am I up to today, or you know, kind of go from there. So now, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, you've been keeping busy. What are still some of your bucket list goals that you have yet to achieve, or that you kind of have, you know, your mindset set on? What are some of your career bucket list items?
Well, I want to create a live action show to show run. You know, I love Tina Fey's career. Tina Fey's always kind of been an idol of mine. So I want to, you know, create a series about that. I want to continue on with your Daily Horoscope, hopefully for many, many years. This has been such a dream for me, especially since I'm so obsessed with astrology. I would also love to, I have a movie that I'm hoping to sell and potentially direct. Yeah.
That's incredible. I love that. Kelly, thank you so much for coming on today and talking to me about your daily horoscope. It has been really cool to sort of get the insight of how the whole show gets put together. So guys, please make sure to check out your daily horoscope on Quibi. Like you just heard Kelly say, it's pretty awesome. Go in there, check your astrological sign, get all the information you need for the day. Kelly, before we go, where can people follow you on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram at Kelly Landry Live, Twitter at Kelly Landry. Those are my main platforms. And I would say to people watching, even if you don't believe in horoscopes, which you should, but if you don't, go watch anyways. It's entertaining. Also, like, it doesn't hurt to just know what the stars are up to have them on your side, you know?
Exactly. Well said. Thank you so much, Kelly. Guys, please do not forget to give this video a like. Let me know what you guys thought of this interview, what you guys think of your daily horoscope in the comments section below. And do not forget to subscribe. Until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.